All right, everybody, come on in. Oops. I think we call that struggle streaming. I was getting a little bit too happy. Come on in, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. We would like to welcome you back to another weekly Wednesday Q&A where you can ask us anything. So don't wait. Go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. No agenda tonight. We will introduce ourselves and then we will give back. The link is also pinned in the chat. If anybody wants to talk to us, you can be camera on or camera off. But before I get started, Lucy, it is so good to see you as always. You look lovely. How are you today?
Can you hear me or am I muted?
I got
Okay,
you.
all right. Um, Everything's good. How are you? How's everything? How's the what is it? Job search?
Well, I have to say, I think, and thank you for asking, I'm doing well, but I am looking for a new position. The position that I was reached out to about, they decided to go with the internal candidate. And I'm going to stay positive. They told me there was an internal candidate in the beginning. And even though I did 5 rounds of interviews, they loved me, but they decided to go with the internal candidate. So I am a senior business analyst and would love to share my resume with anyone who may have leads. Please reach out to me. So, a little bit about me. I see you all coming through the chat. Thank you so much. I am Maggie. You all may know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher from my cooking channel. Lucy and I are also the founders of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. We have got some students already in the chat. We are two older women who love to give back and teach the young, just like we heard from the late, great Kevin Samuels. You all may know that I booked a session with Kevin when he was with us in 2021 because I really feel strongly about us teaching what we've done right and what we've done wrong. So, personally, I am a former wife of 10 years, married my college sweetheart. Um, Met him at 18, married at 25 right after school, and I loved being married. I was married for 10 years, have 2 boys from the marriage, now teenagers, 14 and 16. But I always tell you all that I got caught up in some of that modern woman mindset. We can do anything men can do, it's equal. Until I hit the wall. And so, unfortunately, the marriage did end in divorce. However, we co parent really well to a 14 and a 16-year-old. Since the divorce, I learned a lot, and my second relationship I've now been in for 12 plus years with a very traditional 1% man, which means I've had to do a lot of work to get on the program, but I've never been happier. And that is the perspective that I like to give back from. Professionally, I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry, so I'm a STEM girl. I have an MBA. I am a certified business analyst, been an executive, and lots of accolades on paper, but taking care of those that we love. And this community is what is the most important to me. So go ahead and put your questions in the chat. Lucy, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lucy. You know me through Kevin Samuels by Luke Casely, 20. And I am a current wife, 16 years and counting. I am also a former wife, but I don't like talking about my former life out of respect for my husband. And because that was something in the past, it's just not a happy part of my life. My happy part is being married right now for 16 years and having met Maggie. We met, it was one of those things that you say that whether you believe in God or the universe, that He puts the universe and God puts those people at the right time, the right moment for you to meet. And I met her, I believe it was for the lead attorney. I think either Kevin Samuels or lead attorney, I don't remember. And somehow the discussion was about Kevin Samuels talking about the the elders teaching the young ones on how to live a traditional life. And all of a sudden, I said, "Well, Maggie, I'm a teacher, and I understand about curriculum writing, and if you need my help, just I'm here." And 5 minutes after that comment, our friendship just developed.
Absolutely. And the Finishing School for the Modern Woman was born. So I will tell you all a little bit about it and some things that we've got going on. Lots of resources for you. But we've got some students in the chat. Somebody that I want to shout out. We have Ebony Dix in the house, and she says, "Today is my official birthday." I haven't forgotten about you, Ebony. I got something here. I'm going to send some happy mail, but happy birthday to you. We are so happy to have you here. Ebony has been such an active participant in our classes and is just, growing and blossoming and, stepping out of her comfort zone. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Who
Feliz
else?
cumpleaños, Ebony. And
Yeah.
thank you for being here all. Tara, you're here too, another student of ours.
Absolutely. And Tara has been quite outspoken. She's already given a beautiful testimonial about her experience so far in the finishing school. And this is just the beginning. So, again, tonight is you all's night. Whatever questions that you have that you think we can help you with, just drop them in the chat, or you can click the link if you want to talk to us. You can be camera on or camera off. In the meantime, while we're waiting for those questions to come in, I am going to tell you all a little bit about the finishing school and some special master classes that we have coming up, so you all can still register. Links are in the description, but you can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com for everything that I am going to show you tonight. One of the things that I'm very excited about, let me see if I can find the post. We have a master class. There it is. We have a master class coming up. Let me see if I can share my screen. This is going to be, and I need to update the page, but this will be another Saturday school, the last Saturday of this month. So it will be Saturday, October 28th. It will be 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Let me see if I can show you all a post that came from Sarah Badenova. Let's see. No, I'll just share the entire screen. I don't know if you all can see this, but we have a guest speaker that is coming to the finishing school for the modern woman. This is Sarah Badenova. I have taken one of her classes. I've taken a lot of classes. So if you all want to pick my brain with what I've learned, we would love to teach you. And she is actually going to talk to us about feminine movement. And you can just see here, it says you can't fake great body language. And this is just her laying on a couch, drinking a beverage, looking outside. Something so simple. Our students will know we talk a lot about femininity in our courses, but one of the things that I've had to work on is that silent femininity, because ladies, so much about us is communicated before we even say a word. And on my journey, I've completed courses from Anna Bay, from Emma DuPont. I'm working on the Femininity Project, Woman of Elegance, Jamila Musayeva. One of the things that I learned about myself, being a boy mom, working in corporate America, working in tech, which is just very masculine and competitive and fast paced. I was louder than I wanted to be. I was harsher than I wanted to be. And my movement, my gesture was just kind of like, sit down, slam the door, open the cabinet, put the drink down hard. So I really worked on that aspect of my femininity. So 1 hour class with the Femininity Project is $450, but we are going to offer this master class. It is only $50 for you all to attend. You do need to register. Again, the link is in the description. And Sarah is going to come talk to our students, and she's going to talk to all of you all who register about movement, about being graceful, how to sit like a lady, how to stand like a lady. I am so excited, and I want to see you all there. So go register. We can't wait to have you. What would you like to say about feminine movement, Lucy?
It's so exciting to hear the perspective from someone who has made body language and movement the key of her training. I mean, she's a dance. I think she was, isn't she like a trained dancer?
Champion ballroom
So,
dancer. Yep.
ballroom dancer. And I love watching YouTube videos with all the ballroom dancing, the cha cha and the salsa. And there's a specific way that these dancers move to show the, whatever dance style they're presenting. So that's going to be just great, and it's a great refresher course for me at 57. Sometimes you tend to forget, and it's always good to either uh, get a reminder or learn new things. Always be open to the learning.
Absolutely. And that's what we love to do. So, again, tonight is your night, you all. So, don't be shy. I know you have questions, whatever you think Lucy and I can help you with. I'll just keep vamping on about our classes, but just drop your questions in the chat and we will be happy to answer them. I love what you said. Lucy and I have shared that I am 47. I know today's Ebony's birthday. I'll be 48 next month. Lucy has shared that she is a beautiful 57. Shout out to Zoom to Thailand, who affectionately calls us Salt and Pepper. So take it from Peppa. But what I love about this type of work, ladies, is that femininity never ages. And it doesn't matter how old or young you are. We teach women in their teenage years, young ladies, and we teach women in their 50s. And you have all probably seen a very dignified and almost regal woman that just her presence commands the room. And this is one of the things that I tell our students. It's definitely something that you can work on. It is a skill that you can refine. We talk about awareness. We talk about what we need to stop doing that we didn't even know that was showing up so masculine, things that we can do to replace it, and things that we're doing right that we can continue. So very, very excited to bring these guest speakers to you all. And our students will have access to all of our guest speakers. We are opening up the guest speaker as a master class so you all can come in and have a taste of it. All right, so who all do we have here? We got the Compliment King coming in from your channel saying, cheers, ladies. The African Wolf, Feliz Miércoles. Happy Wednesday to you as well. All right. And we have Samuel, the infamous, from your channel saying, evening, ladies. Hello, sir. All right, so I'm going to share my screen and we're just going to go over what we have to offer in the finishing school and see if you all have any questions. And if not, that's totally fine. We can dismiss early, but we are here for you every week, 8 p.m. Eastern. Um, 7 Central and 5 p.m. Pacific. Lucy and I teach in group coaching, which is not online. These are private Zoom meetings for our students who register. But once a week, we do have these Q&As for the community. So if you all want to learn from us, we're happy to help. Oh boy. We have a
Okay,
question.
so I gotta respond to that one.
Please.
I love to watch Samuel's channel because usually it's a panel of all men. And for me, I observe behavior and how they discuss specific topics. It's amazing to see how they are very logical, direct. They don't worry about, jumping in and not and not stepping on each other's toes, because that's how men discuss things. Whereas with women, we tend to be a little more reserved. We sit back and we wait for the other person to stop talking so we can jump in, which is something that I think that from the invention of social media, I think we women have lost it because we have learned how to hold discussions just like men do. And it's a completely different behavior. So if you want to see manly behavior and how they discuss things, this is why I love watching Samuel, the infamous channel, and also various other channels like, uh, I don't know, Anton Daniels, Mummy, Obsidian Ali, I think. So I can't remember those names right now, but it's all men based panels, and you can see the total difference in communication styles when it's all men and maybe some women. And when I have seen some women led panels that they get out of control because they want to jump in every time someone else speaks, and it's crazy. But anyway, Samuel's channel is great. All the topics that they discuss are amazing. I
Oh
love
my
them.
goodness, I'm gonna have to check it out. I hate to say I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to get in there. And I do see you all's questions coming in, but I do want to first say a huge thank you to the Real Bravado Network. $50. That is incredibly generous. We appreciate you so much. We don't take it for granted. We know how hard men work, and we appreciate it. You all don't even have to be here, but then when you come through and you support like that, I'm incredibly grateful. So thank you to the Real Bravado Network. All right, so the first question, have y'all seen the Cheesecake Factory lady video? What are your thoughts? All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about pop culture, but before I answer this question, thank you, Bria, for the question. I want to so much on what you said, Lucy. I'll come back to it the way communication happens, but since the questions are coming in, I want to jump in. So I am aware vaguely about what happened. So I am going to answer from a slightly uninformed position. However, I am intentional about being slightly uninformed. One of the things that we talk about in the finishing school, and ladies, this is very important to maintain your femininity, is self care. One of the things I've had to do is really regulate how much I take in, whether it's music, TV, social media, or whatnot. And I'm just like y'all. I used to binge watch a lot of these channels and listen to the foolishness and the shenanigans. And this is an important teachable moment, so I will answer it. But if I allowed myself to go down the rabbit hole with every, oh my goodness, can you believe? It really does something to me. So I stay at arm's length. And I would encourage you, ladies, if you want to maintain your femininity, try to filter how much you take in from the outside, because the decision that I made, if I listen to something, if I watch something, if I'm around someone and I feel worse than before I went in, that's not a good experience for me, and I'm not going to continue it. So if I get any of the facts wrong, that's why. Please correct me. Hmm. So as I understand it, there is a woman that went on a date with a man. And what I've heard is that not only was she 1 hour late when he came to pick her up or something like that, the date was to the Cheesecake Factory, which a lot of you all know is a chain restaurant. I like it, but then again, I like everything. And I think she either refused going to the Cheesecake Factory or complained about it. And I think he brought her home. That's all that I know. Shame on her. I will say this, and I've shared with you all. I was asking my man earlier today, what is the first place that we went to? I thought it was Chick-fil-A. He reminded me, he was like, no, it was Blimpie. And Blimpie is like a Subway sandwich kind of restaurant. It didn't matter because I was with him. And now this is someone that is, doing very well, a VP, investing, has multiple properties, all of that. But when we This is someone I've shared, from my childhood. I was ready. He was not. He needed to go off and make himself. And I made more in the beginning. He has now surpassed me. But when I think about women, how ungrateful and how entitled you have to be to refuse because the restaurant that you think you qualify for is so much higher than what this man is able or willing to do. Two teachable moments, and then Lucy, I'm going to ask your thoughts. Ladies, one of the things that I realize in my consults, I do private one on one. If you all are interested, you can book a free 15 minutes to see if it's a good fit, if you want to learn from me. Kevin Samuels used to say this often: we women, we don't understand men. We do not understand them. We judge them the way we would do it, and that is fundamentally wrong. We believe here that men and women are different. We are not equal. We're equally valued, but we're very different. And one of the things that women fail to appreciate about men is how they look at time, how they look at their time. So a man who is stopping whatever he was doing to come pick you up, take you to a restaurant, spend time getting to know you, and then bring you back home, he's not going to get that time back. You are singularly focused on this restaurant that I think is nice, but whatever, that you blew a possible relationship with somebody that, who knows, maybe it could have been a match, but he's never going to consider you now. So that's the first thing. We women don't realize how men value time. And then, secondly, also related to time, men appreciate what we do for them over time. So, young ladies, you expecting to come in the door on a first date or first month or first year and have the anniversary treatment, you will be disappointed every time. There's so many reasons now why men are cautious, and they are waiting to see if who you show up as is who you truly are. So if you pick a good one, hold on, and believe me, when he is ready, he will spoil you in a way that you could not have imagined, but you have to allow him to lead and stop trying to control everything. Shame on her. I'm glad he brought her home. What do you say, Lucy?
I love how the RBM's Real Bravado Network's $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Where he clarifies that he did indeed have a more upscale dining place, and the fact that she didn't. Okay, so this is something that for me was an indicator that she had never been to a high end level restaurant, because you do not when you're scheduled for a high end upscale restaurant, you're on time. The fact that she took an hour later to think that she was going to be able to go into an upscale restaurant without any consequences, that's the first L. Second L, look at the guy had even the problem solving factor was there, because okay, so we lost a high upscale reservation, then we're going to go to a different restaurant, it's not a subscale cheesecake, and she was still complaining. So L number two. And the fact that she was videotaping or recording um, that date is completely out of line. Nobody in their right mind would be storytelling her first date, whether it went well or badly. That is completely, it's not normal behavior.
That is such a good point. Man, we could go on and on about that. My man had a mouthful to say about this woman, but yes, ladies, that entitlement, you think you are going to get what you want by behaving badly. Not only will you not get what you want, you will probably get nothing. And that is what I would say you deserve. Oh, all right, so let me see. I know we have some extra comments coming on. So we talked about the Cheesecake Factory. The African Wolf said, I was just about to ask, is the Cheesecake Factory an appropriate first date? Y'all, I don't know. I'm a simple small town girl and I'm old. I mean, coffee dates, yogurt dates, a walk in the park. Like, let me just say something here. I believe in dating with intention for marriage or long term. So my answers are always going to come from the perspective of, is this a match for marriage or long term? I believe that's the only reason why you should date. I know there are some women that try to take advantage of, men and, going out for a meal or whatnot. I just think that's despicable, especially as a boy mom. I can get really worked up about that. But number one, like Kevin Samuels, the late great, used to say, ladies, if you do not see this man as a potential candidate, you should politely decline the date. Don't waste his money and don't waste his time. If someone shows interest in you, thank them. You can compliment and say, I'm flattered, and then politely decline. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm spoken for, but thank you so much. That's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be ugly. So you don't send any mixed signals. And oh gosh, that point about the upscale restaurant, that's ridiculous. So to answer your question, yes, I think the Cheesecake Factory is very appropriate. What would you say, Lucy?
Yes, and it's all about the experience, actually. Why would you go out on a lunch date, coffee date, or anything else on any kind of date when you know already that you you're 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 not into that person? So why would you waste his time and your time with somebody just to get what a lunch or a coffee? It makes it's illogical to me. I'm not understanding. It's very hard to relate to those decisions. And and fortunately for us is we understand what it was to date with intention. And for some women, they're still learning what it is to how it is to date without a specific intention.
Absolutely. I'm going to scroll back. I was just laughing at some of these comments here, but Real Bravado also says, and thank you for the $10. I've updated you in the ticker. He says it will cost that man about $200 for a full dinner at the Cheesecake Factory. A couple of drinks, appetizers, two entrees, two slices of cheesecake will nearly be $200. It's not cheap at all. And ladies, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just, the disrespect for men and their time. I took a friend of mine out for her birthday and I offered. And, when I got the bill, it was like $250 and I offered and it was beautiful. But I remember telling my guy, I was like, because I'm not used to this, I was like, is this how much it costs to go out? He was like, yes, this is what we pay. And I was like, my goodness. So, ladies, if you're not able to do it for yourself, be very grateful for what you get. And I love this from Tara. She says, "I'm honestly shocked that women didn't want to go to the Cheesecake Factory. It's delicious. I agree, and the portions are large. You can anyway." Let me stop. I say yes to a first date option if she's there for the right reasons. It's a perfect spot. And in all seriousness, we talk about this in the finishing school. Ladies, here's your free tip. Whenever you dine with others, it is never about the food. I don't care if it's a date, a family gathering, a job interview, if you're going to a girlfriend's birthday party. If you are dining with others, it's about the experience, it's about the connection. Again, if you're dating with intention, you are grateful to have the opportunity to have a conversation with someone to see if there's a match. And if there is, there'll be plenty of other outings, but it's never about the food. So now you are internet famous for bad behavior. Congratulations. All right, let's see what other questions we have.
And it's such a beautiful thing to go and just sit down with someone and just listen to their life experience and what their values are and what they believe and think, and just go in with a level of curiosity for that other person that you don't get if your only goal is the monetary goal. how much is this man going to pay for me? I never went into something like that thinking, how much is he going to spend for me? That is nonsense. That's modern woman nonsense that we have to make it stop, because the losers will always be the women. The men will go on about their lives, okay, because they build, they create, they recreate. The world can come to an end and they will still recreate it for us. But the women are the ones that are always going to lose.
I agree because he will find someone like me or Tara, if we were available, that would say yes and be on time for the Cheesecake Factory. We do have a question from KRKR. It says, "What you both think of Gino Jennings?" I don't know who that is, so you'll have to give us more. Muted myself. It always happens. You'll have to give us more context. All right, y'all, keep
Let
the
me look it
question.
up.
Oh, Lucy's gonna look it up. Do I want to know? What does Bria say? Yes, my first date with my husband was a walk through this beautiful DC park and a light lunch. Married 6 months later. Oh, I love that. I love that. Yes, Tara says, preach, Miss Lucy. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, since Lucy brought up the modern woman, I'm going to talk to you all a little bit about the finishing school for the modern woman as we take your questions. Tonight is your night. We have no agenda, so whatever questions you have, we are happy to answer them. So go ahead and pepper us in the chat
I
or
think Gino Jennings is a pastor sometimes who preaches maybe hard truths, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not sure. I mean, is there, I don't know if there's like a latest controversy. I don't know. I don't mind being told hard truths. I'd rather have a hard truth told to me than a beautiful lie, quite honestly. You tell me how it is, I will get upset, but then I'll live with it rather than you tell me beautiful lies. Then I find out that it was a lie and then it's going to be worse. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
okay.
Pastor Gino has no filter. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind that.
And that's another thing. I see your comment, Real Bravado. But ladies, again, when we say that we don't really understand men, I'll circle back to what Lucy said in the beginning about how men communicate. And unfortunately, a lot of our young ladies who haven't had a father to tell them straight how it is. And I don't care if you need to go cry in the corner, get it together.
Mhm.
You know that, or if you don't know, Lucy and I both are immigrants, and so we have a different like nuclear family upbringing. And so, unfortunately, a lot of women who haven't had fathers and haven't really had masculine men in their lives, when they get around a man, they take and mistake natural male behavior for you're controlling, you're this, you're that. You will get your feelings hurt when dealing with men. And honestly, they don't intend to, they just don't beat around the bush to try to sugarcoat it. Now, of course, in your in relationship, like sometimes I'll be like, oh, that hurt a little bit, but it's the truth. And sometimes he'll say, was that harsh? And I was like, yeah, it was kind of harsh. Oh, okay. More questions are coming in, but I see Real Bravado says another $5. Let me update you. He says I have to run. My table at the Cheesecake Factory is ready. He says, keep up the good work. And I did see you have another comment. He says, guess what other restaurant has a chain? Ruth Chris. Yeah. So, ladies, just choose wisely and behave better. Thank you. Thank you, Real Bravado. I will update the ticker again. We have a question from Bria. She says, how did y'all change your style or clothing choices postpartum? Things fit differently, and even though I've dropped the weight, I just don't love the fit of my clothes anymore. That's a good one.
Mhm.
All right, so I'll answer this one, and it's been a long time. The boys are 14 and 16, but I'll say this honestly, this applies whether or not you have had children, because my style has changed as my body has changed. Because you all know, or if you don't know, I've been on a health and wellness journey. So far, down 80 pounds. I have to keep going. But as we age, our body changes. And I think it's a natural and a beautiful thing. There's no reason why a 50 or 60-year-old woman should be trying to compete with the 20-year-olds. We had our time in the sun. Um, One of the things that I had to do is working with a stylist to really understand my body type and what works for me. We talk a little bit about this in the finishing school, and we will have a guest speaker to come do a deep dive on style. Again, included for our students, will be available for a cost for anyone who wants to listen to a master class, but really understanding your body type. So knowing that I'm a little bit bigger on top and a little bit slimmer on the bottom, the opposite of a lot of ladies. So I have to dress in a way that flatters my shape. I have to know what works for my capsule wardrobe. And when you hear capsule wardrobe, you can think uniform. Okay, so when you figure out these are the areas of my body that I want to enhance or show a little bit, a little bit of collarbone. Maybe you have a waistline, maybe you have nice legs. You can definitely still be feminine without showing everything. And then these are the parts of my body that are not my best. Maybe I have a little bit of a tummy. I know I'm wider in the middle. And so you figure out the kind of clothes that work for you. And then the biggest thing is you have to avoid or get rid of the things that don't. And sometimes if you see it on somebody else or you see it on a mannequin and you're like, oh, it looks great, and you take it home, if it doesn't make you feel like your best and sit on you well, your height, your frame, your proportion. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. I am not a stylist, but understanding that everything is not for everyone. So, like, I'll never wear a crop top. That may be the trend, but that's not flattering for me. So, that's what I would say. It's not so much about the postpartum, but it is as we get older. And as you know, some things just aren't appropriate. So, if you have those things in your closet, you can consign or donate or, give them away. And it doesn't matter how trendy something is, don't buy anything that doesn't flatter you. Those are some of the changes that I made as I've aged. What about your style, Lucy? You're so elegant.
I can't speak to the side of postpartum because I was never blessed with having children, but I can tell you that after 50, your body again starts changing. We go through a lot of changes as older women. There's that menopause, there's all of that stuff where your body starts rearranging, where you get your chunky places. So according to what your body rearranges, then you have to make a decision on, wearing different type of clothing. And again, and that goes, I would say that maybe going to I don't know, maybe like a Dillard's or Bloomingdale's or one of those places to get a specific styler, a person to style you for the first time. I think you pay a specific amount for them to style you and kind of allow you to find your new style. I'm sure you can also go into Pinterest or Instagram and look up for those uh, influencers that wear the clothing that you most like to relate to, and see if maybe you can uh, replicate or mimic that style with your own clothing, with your own body, and see if that works. So I think that um, there's many ways that you can say you can learn what best style works for you. For me, it's kind of like elegant is better than trendy because elegance is throughout the years. Trendy is either, summer, winter, whatever is the most immediate right now. And trends go away, whereas elegance and dressing in a more classy way stays forever.
I love that. Yes, classic elegant fashion is kind of what I try to do as well as, a little bit of active mom, a little bit of girly as well. So, yeah, it's just one last thing I'll say, Bria, thank you for the question. Any other questions, y'all, just put them in the chat. She says, you're still modest, but you're just figuring how to love the difference in fit. And I'll just say, your body does change and it's normal and it's okay. And just the expectation that everything is going to fit as it did before, I just want to encourage you that there may be some things that you have to let go of as you age, as your body changes. So there may be, I have some things that I used to just love, and when I put them on, it just doesn't sit right anymore. And I'm thankful for the time that we had, and then it's time to let that go. So hopefully that helps. And I see some of you all can relate. Tara can relate. I do have a stylist that I use who's actually coming to speak at the finishing school. And I'll tell you about Ria. And if you want, I can inbox her information. But she actually did shop with me, kind of like a personal shopper, like Lucy said, and actually got several clothes and made me try them on. Did I buy everything? No, I bought some things, but I learned your waist is here. It's not there. You need to wear two of these for extra support, just all of that. And I can still keep it with me and dress myself. All right, Umbria says, yes, please do. Okay, I absolutely will. And I'll drop it in the chat. It's Paper Doll Factory, but it's spelled different. Hello, Marianne. All right, so let me pull up the slides. I'm not seeing any other questions for now, but I'm sure you all have more. So let us talk a little bit about the finishing school. Hello, hello,
I
everyone.
do have a question for you, Maggie.
Yes, please.
Okay, so you said you graduated with a major in chemistry. What? Okay, from chemistry to IT. How did this come together?
Oh my goodness, yeah, I'm telling you all. All right, so my background, coming from, like I always say, a traditional immigrant family, you all know, and like, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, it's kind of like they don't really understand these newfangled careers. And both of my parents are PhDs. Education is very important, and I like math and science. I'm happy that I was always a nerd. So I was on the pre-med track, and then I realized I don't really like germs like that. Sorry. Thank you all to our, nurses and I can't. Um, and so, I was on the pre-med track, and then when it was time to graduate, I needed a job. I just, didn't want to graduate and be one of those kids that's just like at mom and dad's house. And so I am a graduate of Spelman College, a wonderful all-girls school, and they had and still have a really good career placement office. Here's a professional tip, students. um, College is so expensive. I mean, I had scholarship and I worked, so I had very little debt that I paid off immediately. But don't just go to school just to go to school. Make sure that the degree that you're going for, if you're going to go for a degree, look at how much the degree is going to cost and look at how much the starting salaries are or the average salaries are for that role. Both of our boys are going to probably take the military track because they don't really know what they want to do yet. And the military is a great option to expose them to multiple things. Plus, they need the maturity, and then maybe they'll go to college after, paid for by the military. So, especially ladies, coming into relationships with all that debt, it's just not a good thing. And then leading with your accomplishments, men don't care about that. But anyway, to answer the question about myself, so I went to the career placement office and I was like, well, I want a job. And companies were coming and hiring and doing like mock interviews on campus. So while I was still in school, I was actively interviewing so that I graduated with a job. And my first job was in sales. I like people, so I was a sales rep for a tobacco company. Don't smoke. But they had a really good benefit, which was 100% tuition reimbursement because I knew I wanted to go back to school. And my ex-husband actually is also in tech, and I used to watch him like fix stuff all the time. I'm not mechanical like that. And he said, you're smart. You can do this IT stuff too. And I was like, really? So I wanted to do a tech degree or tech certificate, something. But in order to get the 100% tuition reimbursement, it had to be the type of degree that would benefit the company. And since I was in sales, they would pay for an MBA. So I have a business degree because it was paid for 100%, and I specialized in technology management. So that's why I have an MBA with a concentration in technology management. And I've been in IT ever since and gotten certifications. So that's kind of a little bit about my professional background. I'm also available to help with like resume writing and coaching and interview skills. I've been an executive for the Coca-Cola company. So I've hired, I've had to let people go. I've done a lot of that. So again, you can book a free 15-minute session with me and see if you have anything I can help you with. Hopefully that
No
answers your
wonder
question.
you ended up in sales. I'm going, oh my God, Maggie, she is a master at marketing things and how to sell information and how she creates all of these these stories to tell us on what would benefit us. And it's like that is a selling mind. It's also being an extrovert does not hurt to be able to do that, but it all comes together. Oh my goodness, I can totally see it now.
Thank you, Lucy. And we got Lisa, the housewife, in the chat. Lisa says, hello, everyone. And she says, I love dressing modest because you stand out when the world is dressed otherwise. Oh, my goodness. Such a good point. Ladies, yes. One of the things that Lucy and I are passionate about in this space is creating the community that we want because I know what it feels like to not fit in. I know what it feels like to be, the odd one out, to be out of touch. And so we are building that community. So if you like it here, stay connected. We just talked about international etiquette in our last session for the finishing school at Saturday School. And we talked about in other countries, the expectations for men and women are still very traditional. And some of the clothing that you think is acceptable here can be either offensive or can communicate a different message about you than you intend. So that's the kind of stuff that we get into. Our new session, we're only going to offer the finishing school once per quarter. So we're already in our fall 2023 quarter, but we will be teaching again in January 2024. Um, she says that's her Maggie magic. Oh, you guys are too kind. I appreciate it. Thank you for saying that. All right, you guys, come on through with the questions. What else can we help you with? In the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what we've got going on. Just always like to give you all some updates. Again, we are here for you once a week. These are the weekly Q&As. You can ask us anything that's on your mind. We'd be happy to help you. You can click the link that is pinned to the chat. You can be camera on or camera off if you just want to, talk with your voice, or you can type your question. All right, so we are ready to take them. We've already introduced ourselves. Lucy and I have a connection from the Kevin Samuel space, and we both are content creators. So um, my channel is a cooking channel, plus a little bit of lifestyle, femininity, elegance, etiquette. Lucy, what can they find on your channel?
Ma'am, my channel focuses a lot on learning Spanish. So most of the content is Spanish speaking. We take you from a very basic to advanced. At this point, I think we are on the last pages of a book called Madrigal's Key to Spanish. But then I also sprinkle in between, not sprinkle in between some femininity, elegance, and modern day topics that to me are important to maybe discuss or present in a different manner, and always looking at on the traditional side of the topic. So yeah, mostly Spanish with a little bit of anything that is uh, in the culture and society, something that I think that would benefit to present.
I love that. We have another question from Bria. Bria says, what character requirements do you all have when it comes to your friendships at this point in life? Ooh, that's a good one. It reminds me of the consult that I just did with a 20 something. Hmm. So I use the word friend and I take friendship very seriously. I know this may be a little bit of a flaw of mine, but I really try to hold on, even sometimes when things are past their expiration date. But one of the things that I realized in my older age is that it's okay not to have a lot of what I would call friends, right? I heard this explained somewhere like there's three circles. If you can think of three concentric circles, concentric meaning the same center. So you got like that third degree, that outer ring, your acquaintances, people you may know, you may bump into, you're pleasant, you know of them, but you just kind of would say that they're, friendly. And then that second circle would be, someone that you would consider a friend, someone that you've spent time with and gotten to know. Um, but I still think even at that level, you still hold some things because that inner circle, that intimate circle, I think it's reserved. And I see you, Lisa, in the back. We'll come to you in just a moment. I see that inner circle, there are certain things that should just be for your spouse or your man or your life partner or your immediate family. And I think the mistake that a lot of women make, especially young women, social media and the friends. We love social media. We use it as a tool. It can be very helpful. But when you start comparing your life to what other people want you to see, or showcasing everything about your life, there's nothing that's sacred anymore. And I've learned that the hard way as I get older. Not everybody's happy, for you. So be aware. We talk a lot about that in the finishing school. And just the consult that I had this week, I told her, because she was getting a lot of bad advice from other women. And I asked her, these women that are your friends, are they in the type of relationship that you would want to have? If not, be very wary unless they are coming at it from, look, I'm 50 years old, never married, no kids. Um, I thought I would always have a second chance, and so I never settled down. Don't make my mistake. So, unless an older woman is telling you what she did wrong as well as what she did right, because at this age, we've all been through some things. Um, but now I meet people, I'm friendly and respectful to everyone, but I need to see a level of consistency for me to call you a friend because I really mean what I say. And if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And when people are very flaky, that just makes me say, okay, you're not really trustworthy. And there could be reasons for it, but that's some of the changes that I've made. What would you say, Lucy?
I absolutely agree on that last one. I would think that I think friendships, you need to be very selective because what do you value, quality or quantity? So you want to have quality friendships that will um, improve your life, and not because it's out of interest for somebody else. It's just that's friendships that are somebody that will be happy when you're happy, be sad when you're sad. When you start seeing some of those friendships uh, not be happy when you're happy, that's a red flag. That is something. Why is this person not happy for my happiness? It's really weird. That's when you start trying to um, pick specific areas on where you're going to have those friendships. You can have friendships that you can go dance with your husbands and everything else. You can have friendships that you can have movie time with them. You can pick the different type of acquaintances and friendships, but real true friendships, I think it has to be quality, and it's got to be a very, very small circle. That's how I see it.
I love it. Thank you for the question. All right, I am going to bring Lisa, the housewife. Lisa, you are here. What question did you have, or what did you want to add?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, ladies. Good evening. I was watching, well, I just got in the last 10 minutes and I was listening. And I was just wondering, because I have a nice evening to myself, about your conversation. And I'm wondering what with the school and the service you're providing to the ladies in your groups and stuff. Are you finding that they all kind of have the same story or what they're looking for in the training that they're requesting, and where are they saying they're like finding that they're not, where's the disconnect, or where are they saying they're lacking in the information that they haven't been provided?
Okay, excellent question. So I'll take a stab at this and then Lucy can answer. So for the finishing school for the modern woman, you can consider this like group coaching. So we meet once a week on Saturdays and it is a private Zoom. So there's a small group of us that are in the finishing school under 10. So we're in a Zoom session. And when we start the class, when we start the session, since it's 8 weeks, we actually start with an intake form that our students fill out so we can best understand what they've been exposed to so far, what they know about any of these topics, and what their personal goals are. That's one of the things I love about the finishing school is that it's taught live. This is Lucy and I, or Lucy and me with our students. So again, we have a teenager in our class. We have someone from 18 to over 50. So the life experience is going to be very different. We do have a curriculum. So every week we have a different topic, whether it's dining, whether it's business etiquette, whether it's international, whether it's self-confidence. And so we come with our curriculum. We have our slides. Our students get workbooks. I have them here. They actually get workbooks so they can take notes. And then during the lesson, we go around and we take several laps to ask them, what is making sense? What questions do you have? Anything we need to clarify? And that way it allows the students to make the teaching customized for them. I have an event coming up, or I have this going on with a family member, or I'm self-conscious about this. And then we can coach them together in the session about whatever they need as we go through our topic. So that's what I would say. Lucy, how would you answer?
I agree, and I believe that the feedback that we've received is that for the most part, some of them haven't had the opportunity to learn from their parents or their mothers that information that we're giving. But it's mostly they're curious. They want to improve how they're doing things now. And with this group, it's great because we're all supportive of each other. We know that we all want to succeed in everything that we do. So I think that that's the needs assessment or the intake that we take initially lets us know a little bit of what they know, what they want to know, and what they will be taking away from these 8 weeks, or what they wish to take away in these 8 weeks.
Perfect. Hopefully that answers. Lisa, did you have any other questions or did that make sense?
No, that makes sense. I was just, um, I've been watching what y'all do, and I really enjoy the service that y'all providing, and I tell people about it because, like, I was in the hospital a few weeks ago, and when I'm in the hospital, sometimes I have a lot of downtime, so I watch shows. And one of my favorite shows that reminds me of my time I spent with my grandma when I would be with her. Um, Sometimes is she used to watch Designing Women, and I remember watching that in the '80s as a kid, and in the '90s, and on replay and stuff, And I was in the hospital a few weeks ago, and the nurses around me are like, "What are you watching? That's so intriguing." And I live in the South, and so I'm like, "Y'all never heard of Designing Women?" And they're listening. The nurses can hear it because I'm playing it, and they're asking me, "What are they talking about?" And I'm like, "This is just a popular show in the '80s." And she's like, "What do you like about it?" I said, I like their mannerisms, and it reminds me of a time that I grew up watching this with my grandma, and this was just what we watched back in the '80s. And the nurses, she brought another friend in, and I say they were in their 20s, and they were just intrigued about. And I was like, "Oh, y'all never heard of this?" And they're like, "No." I'm like, "What do y'all be watching?" And they're watching crazy stuff. And I'm like, "Yeah, this is what TV used to be like." And my grandma would say, "Yeah, you see what they're doing? They're using lace and stuff, and they point out stuff." And I'm like, besides the hair and the shoulder pads and all that '80s stuff, there's a lot of stuff that when you go and watch shows like that, you kind of see that, and we get away from that. And so I guess I'm getting myself all mixed up, but I was just trying to think about, I see people out in the world, and I wonder how the young people, the questions they come up with, and just kind of what y'all were talking about kind of reminded me of what the nurses were asking me when I watch shows like this. And I'm like, yeah, if you've never heard of it, or this is all foreign to you, then us talking about it online like you guys do or other people do it's kind of foreign until it becomes familiar. So I appreciate what y'all doing. I try to let I say, well, there's shows y'all can watch, or there's YouTube and stuff. I try to promote different things, but you just be amazed how much the basic stuff we're talking about that seems common sense, and I wouldn't even say common sense, but just seems normal, that a lot of our young people are not being exposed to and just have no clue. But the stuff they are being exposed to that was normal for us back then, what's normal now is like these crazy people. And I'm like, so that it just, this, what y'all doing gives me hope for for people to say, hey, there's a better way. And I was just wondering, dealing with the community, what kind of feedback you're getting back. So kudos to y'all and good work. And I'm excited about um, all the work that people like us are doing. So that was my question, and just doing a little research, I guess. But I'm gonna let you guys have it back, and I'll be in the comments. Thanks,
Thank you
ladies.
so much, Lisa. I appreciate you.
I
All right.
absolutely love that she took that opportunity in the hospital. I hope you're doing better if it was something for you, Lisa, to as a teachable moment. As one of the elders within that environment, she taught two or three people how things used to be. That's amazing. I love that.
All right, I was gonna go to the chat, but I see someone else in the back. One of our students is here. Ebony, you are in the chat. Did you have a question or anything to add?
No, I just have a comment, so excuse my voice. I was coming down with something this past weekend, and it grew. But I want to say thank you, because on Kevin Samuels, all his lives, he'll say, "Do you have someone you can learn from?" And I'm grateful for this platform that you guys have done, because I think a lot of the I'm going to go back to the red pill space. They talk about how they don't ever say who women can learn from. And I think this is fantastic. Kevin Samuels always say, who can you learn from? And he talk about a cookbook. And then you just brought out your cookbook yesterday. Doing your chicken bread live. And so with that being said, he, sorry, he's correct. He was saying, who could, is there someone to learn from? And I think my personal opinion for all the people who's in different spaces to promote the channel, Wives Club, as well as this channel, because it's about who can you learn from. And yeah, that's what I had to say. And I'm grateful to be part of the class in the further classes, because it's not just one day, it's consistency. And you talked about, when you say many accolades, Maggie, you're not talking about one day or 1 week. You talk about, that's a long time, so I'm grateful. So anyway, I'm here for the future. That's all I got to say. Sorry.
Rest that voice, Ebony. Believe me, I understand. I lost mine a couple of months ago. Um, oh, thank you so much. Did you want to respond to that, Lucy, or go to the question?
Yes, Ebony, take some tea for that voice, because it looks like you're really stressing it. I think I was talking to Maggie the other day about how singers usually are chewing on mental those what is it, those drops of cough lozenges, and then they put like a something around their neck to keep their voice or their larynx. I don't know how the voice, it all comes together to keep it from stress. So I think that the less you speak and the more you try to soothe that throat, the better it is, Ebony. Because I love what you said. Thank you so much for being a live testimony on how this is helping you as a student of this school.
Oh, and I'm so glad. And I love what Ebony said. She's going to be with us, ladies. This is just the beginning. Lucy and I are planning a meetup for our students. We want to put in practice in person what we've learned. We're going to have multiple classes. We'll always be here for the weekly Q&A. So we appreciate you all so much. All right, Kim K had a question. She says, "Hi, ladies. Are there any topics of conversation that should be avoided when you first start dating someone?" Yes. And I always tell you all, I don't really have a lot of relationship experience. I've had two. No, I don't have a lot of dating experience. I've had two relationships. Okay, so I have relationship experience. So going on a lot of first dates, again, I always tell you guys I'm ignorant of that. But again, in this space where we talk about dating with intention for purpose of marriage or long term. Now, if you want something casual, if you're really not trying to settle down, then this message doesn't apply. But if you are a woman who wants, marriage and family, hopefully you use your, youth and your best years to choose wisely. That first date is really, in my opinion, just to see, do we like each other? Is this a possible match? Okay. So you don't want to interrogate the other person about everything, and you don't want to tell your whole life story. Now, of course, I believe in being honest. The consult that I had this past week, her friends were telling her, "Girl, just lie. If he asks you about this, just lie." No, that's never good. So if you ask me a direct question, I will give you a direct answer, but I try to keep it light in the beginning. I think conversations naturally happen. Maybe it's, a skill, or it's easy for me to kind of open up. And I think you eventually start talking about the topics that may be a little bit more difficult over time. But you really need to decide, is this person worth, and not that they're not worthy, but are they worth knowing, your crazy family history, and your dad went, was in jail for whatever it was. Like, remember those three concentric circles. Allow them to earn, and I had to learn this, allow them to earn, just like you're earning more time with them, where those kind of conversations will come up. So, specifics, in the beginning, I would talk about things that I like, maybe where I grew up, some of my interests, kind of what I see myself doing in the future. I've always wanted to be a wife and mother or something like that, but not too detailed until we've established that this is a match. That's what I would say. Lucy, what would you say?
I agree. And I think that, again, the first date is like a dance, the first dance. He says something, you say something, you allow him to ask him questions, you answer those questions, then you ask him questions as well. So it's that back and forth that, unfortunately, I think that with social media, that dance has been lost. That kind of way of, you flirt while you're talking, you're eating, you're watching each other, he's watching you. I mean, that's the fun part of just having that first date, because you don't know what's going to happen. So, and for me, it's kind of thinking about what that man is going to pay for me. That is not that's the last thing that you're going to be thinking of, because you're interested in what you're going to be seeing, what you're going to be talking about. Things not to talk about is just, I don't know. So uncomfortable things like why you broke up on the last with the last person. Again, I'm like Maggie. I didn't have that much dating experience. It was usually, if I go out with this man, I think it's because he's worth my time and I will be worth his time. And I'm married to him. I married him. So I think that political things and that's a little weird to get into on the first date. You start learning about each other on the second or third date.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question. Hopefully that helps. I see Wilbert in the chat. Wilbert, it's been a while. It's good to see you. What does Wilbert say? In this time, of social media, do you prefer in-person friends or over-the-web friends? Can you develop true friendship with someone you've never met before? Yes, but. So I'll say, Lucy and I have not met in person yet, but someone told me we're even starting to look alike. Shout out to Salt and Pepper. But relationships, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a working relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, are built over time. We have spent so much time together. This whole summer, you all had no idea when we were building out the finishing school and talking and trying and different things. So, the relationships that I have are the people that I've spent a lot of time with, ups and downs, good news, bad news, whatnot. And you all know, I mean, I do understand there are some friendships that you may not talk every day or even every week, and then you just pick up where you left off. But I would argue that those relationships, there was a time when you were close. Maybe you were schoolmates or classmates, and so they know you. And so now it's kind of like, we're busy. Let's try and grab lunch or brunch when we can. Um, but to answer your question, let's see. Do you prefer in person friends over the web friends? So your question with the premise of the time of social media, I look at social media very differently. People look at social media like it's the real world. I don't. It's an advertisement. It's what people want you to see. It's what I want you to see. I got lots of meals that don't look that good or whatever it is. So I take it with a grain of salt and I look at social media as a tool. So I've never used that as a benchmark for this person is my friend. I may have met you on social media. We'll talk about Lucy. We met in the we have a connection to Kevin Samuels. We met in the lead attorney space. And then, called her after a stream after she said, I can write curriculum. I was like, you're hired. Um, but then the relationship has to go off of social media, right? Like, I don't know much about, the dating apps. I know they exist, but people who their only relationship is on, it's not even a relationship, their only interaction is on a dating app or texting. Like you've never had eye contact, conversation. Like Lucy said, that dance, right? We're going to learn from our femininity coach about feminine movement. There's so many things that go into a real connection that I don't think you can really have exclusively online. That's what the bots are for, or AI. What do you say, Lucy?
I agree. I mean, you can't smell a person's essence when you're online. When you have someone that walks by and you're like, "Ooh, that person smelled good. I'm wondering what perfume they were wearing," or "Ooh, this girl smells so good. What scent is she wearing?" Or it's one of those things that we need to start learning the beauty of getting to know each other in person, because I think right now we're doing it backwards. I think we're focusing more on learning folks by social media, which is not true. It's not real. It's not real life. We have to go back and start saying hello to people, looking at them, at their faces, their eyes, eye contact. Uh, just enjoy personal relationships in real time in the real world. I can't wait to meet Maggie. When we get our own meetup, because we know so much about each other, but it's been in virtual life. But we know that we can count on each other when she says, you know, can we work on this? And I can tell her, yeah, I can work on it. And she's going to have it. She knows that she's got my commitment. And it's that, again, that friendship dance that we have online. But there's no better way than to meet someone face to face in person.
I love that. Oh, such a good question. So we've got a few more moments. I'm going to pull up the slides and just give you all the reminder about the finishing school. Great questions tonight. We got Richard Boggs. He says, great advice here tonight. Y'all have to check out my butter collab with Richard. Talk about long-time relationships. Richard and I know each other for many, many years. And I just did a collab with him where he taught us how to make homemade butter. So you all can check out. And he says, men need to hear this conversation. I love it. I think, Richie Mack sent you here. I think this goes to everyone. I'll just say, especially for the young people, those of us who are older, remember life before social media. Shocker. We survived, okay? I know we're ancient dinosaurs, but what Lucy said about that real human interaction, there's nothing that has beat it. So I would just offer to young people, especially, we love technology and we love that shiny new toy, but just take a moment and think about what has worked in all communities for hundreds and thousands of years. So that app or that website or that toy that you're very excited about is a very new thing. I know it's real to you, but it's a very new thing. And as you get older and you appreciate some of the experiences that have lasted the test of time, that's just what we want to offer here that you all remember. Those are the things that really matter because you too will get older one day. We love to age gracefully here, but yes, absolutely. Killa says, talking about smells, I went on a date with a guy once and he smelled like nothing, literally nothing. No soap, no cologne, no fabric softener, no sweat, nothing. It's leave it to
That's
Killis.
perfect.
Oh my
That was
God.
funny.
We all have a smell. Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. Shout out to Casper. It is that time of year. All right, so let me tell you all about what we have available to you. So many good conversation here. Some of these we've already talked about. So you know, Lucy and me, we're here every week on Wednesdays to give you your Q&A. Ask us anything. A little bit about the finishing school. It is for ladies. And like Lucy said, the finishing school is really for ladies who you've always wanted to claim your inner girl, right? That feminine, that softness. You just didn't know where to begin. Maybe you had a very masculine mother. Maybe you are a boy mom. Maybe you work in a masculine environment and you just feel like something is missing. This is where we cultivate that space. We've talked a little bit about why we need it. What we focus on in the finishing school is enhancing and embracing our femininity. Like my man says, ladies, you're already feminine. Just stop fighting it. We talk about that next level of elegance, and there's so much that you can do without saying a word that shows up more refined, more polished. And then we talk about etiquette, which is really the acceptable behavior in different situations. So if you are, especially this time of year when we're going to be gathering, shout out to the hosting class. We want to make sure that our students are comfortable in all spaces. So we do talk about proper etiquette as well as confidence, poise, dining situations, business situations, international situations, and that communication is a huge part of all of our relationships. So again, registration is open. The link is in the chat. Thank you for dropping it, Kalis. You also have so many bonuses when you register for the finishing school, including the Maggie cookbook, because you do need a cookbook. I was asked to speak at a marriage conference, and I have gifted my speech for our students. That's another bonus you will get. I am available for speaking engagements if anyone has a group that you would like for me to come speak to them about what we do or anything I can help with. The next session, because this is taught live, but it's taught privately. So our next 8-week session will be January 6th through February 24th of next year. So we have 8 weeks. The first 7 are going to be taught by Lucy and me. And then week 8 is always a guest speaker. Another bonus is that our students get access to all of the guest speakers. So as I enhance my network and bring people to come speak, students, it will be included in your tuition and we'll make it open for those of you all who want to listen to the master class. Let me just pause here because I know sometimes I can go on and I'm not looking at the chat. Are we doing okay, Lucy, or anything I need to pause on?
We're doing great.
Okay. All right, everyone. So let me just finish up since we always have people hearing for the first time. Lucy and I are here for you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. The Finishing School for the Modern Woman, our open Q&As are always live Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, and 5 Pacific. Yes. We are also a podcast available on Spotify. So if you want to listen to these Q&As all the way back to the beginning, this is what's wonderful about this environment and the group coaching. Even if it wasn't your question, you can learn from other people, and that's a wonderful benefit of what we do in class as well. So you can find the Finishing School for the Modern Woman podcast on Spotify and listen to us on the go. This is the class that is coming up. Is it next Friday? Next week, Friday? Oh my goodness. Sarah Bedenova, champion ballroom dancer, is coming to teach us next week, Saturday. Not this Saturday, but next week, Saturday. Feminine movement. And ladies, there is so much that you can say just in your posture, just in your walk, in your sitting down and your standing up. Um, so much that communicates if you're graceful or if you move like a dude. So, if that's important to you, this is our guest speaker for this session. So, students will have this lesson included. We are making this masterclass available to all of you, but you do need to register. 1 hour of private teaching with Sarah is $450. Lucy and I have covered that. You all can come learn from her for $50. It will be a private Zoom taught on Saturday, October 28th, and it will be 12 p.m. Eastern. Come live, answer your questions. I did a private session with her. I recorded myself. She gave me feedback. It's wonderful. All right, so that's coming up. And then the next day, by popular demand, Lucy and I will be teaching another masterclass, hosting etiquette. So if you are nervous about the holidays coming up, whether you have people coming over, whether you're going to meet the in laws for the first time, we want to help you be prepared and feel comfortable. What is the host responsible for? What are guests responsible for? Can you bring your own food? Should you bring flowers? What time should you arrive? We're going to talk about all of that. Another private masterclass you all can register for. All of this is at teachablemomentswithmaggie.com, and you all can sign up and be a part of this class taught privately online. And then, but wait, there's more. In November, we are having a 30-day elegance boot camp. This will be free. This will be on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter for everyone. We have permission from Vivian, Woman of Elegance. I have completed her book as well, and she has a 30-day guide to becoming elegant. So from November 1 through November 30th, we will be teaching a 30-minute lesson for each day of her book. That will be at 9 p.m. Eastern, and this will be live. The first day is already posted for you all to turn on your reminders, and this will be free for the community. So if you're interested in getting started, next month is going to be big. All right, so that's Vivian. This is her book. Another bonus for our students, you will get this Elegance Bootcamp book for free. For everyone else, you can get a 20% off discount using code Elegance20, and we will be teaching from her book. All right, so let me pause there. Lucy, is there anything else I'm missing, or go ahead and wrap it up?
I think you've covered everything. I think the hosting one, I'm looking forward to it because as an introvert, hosting is not my strength. And it's always a good thing to learn on the do's and don'ts on, whether you're going to somebody's house or people coming over to your house.
Yes, and ladies, this I know I'm talking about the holidays coming up, and this is the time of year where we're going to be gathering together. Some of us love it, some of us it gives us anxiety, but really knowing what is acceptable and knowing how to maybe handle difficult guests or how to work the flow of a dinner party so people can take your cue. um, what conversations are okay, who do you sit together, all of that. And these are things that I have taken years and invested so much because I'm curious, just me kind of nerding out on it. I really didn't think anybody else would be interested. So I love sharing it with you all and, putting my spin on what I've learned plus my life experience. So I'm glad that it's grateful. And what does Kila say? That's lovely. Thanks, you guys, working so hard for the community and offering all these great things. We are grateful and we are just getting started. So much more to come. All right. Yes, real deep human interaction is priceless. So, with that, I think we will go ahead and dismiss. We like to keep these to about 90 minutes so you all can get in and get out and enjoy your Wednesday evening. So, for our students, we will see you this Saturday. And for everyone else, links are all in the description. You can find me on my channel and on all socials, Maggie the Substitute Teacher. Lucy, do you have anything to close us out?
Thank you again for those wonderful questions, wonderful comments. Tara's comment says, thank you all for this platform. It's necessary for women in the next generation. Please sign up for this course. You will not be disappointed. It's for every woman who wants a wholesome, happy future. She's one of our students. I love her. I actually love all of them. It's going to be so sad to see them go, but it's like the mama duck with her little ducklings when they have to go on their own, and it's going to be great to hear what happened after the fact.
Absolutely. And yes, thank you, Tara. And again, we are building this community. This is just the beginning, and we will always be giving back and having so much more. So, if you all like what we're doing, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being here, and stay tuned because the best is yet to come. All right, everyone, we're going to go ahead and dismiss and let you have your evening. Until the next time, we will see you back here on our weekly Q&As.
Adios.
Adios.